My friends are my power. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
What is going on, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and nerds everywhere? Welcome back to Nerd Explosion, a weekly podcast for based on one theme, we nerd out, but wherever we want. It's Caitlin, and I'm sick.
And you scared the shit out of me. You usually give me a warning before you just dive right in.
I always gotta keep you on your toes. Yeah, no, for this episode, I do not feel good. I mean, you can tell by my voice, but I've been sick for the past couple days, but you know, content never sleeps. That's the rules of the internet. We all must feed the machine. It must consume. Anyway, on to today's topic. Since we're doing unsolved mysteries this month, I came up with another topic for today's episode, one that's more my style of expertise: video games. There are quite a few unsolved mysteries in video games, actually, and I thought we'd go over a bunch today. I think some you might know, and others you probably don't, because, you know, you don't go down video game mystery, lost video rabbit holes like I do.
No, the rabbit holes I go down consist of true crime and whether or not the Titanic actually sank. Spoiler alert, it didn't. It was the Oceanic that sank. Thank you very much.
Maybe that'll be our next episode. But for today, we're talking about video game unsolved mysteries. And before we get into that, new episode of this podcast come out every Saturday, so do all the things that do all the stuff on all the different things, linked in the description. But with that, let's get into some video game unsolved mysteries. Alright, video game unsolved mysteries. Are there any mysteries involving games that you are aware of, Caitlin?
No.
Well, good, because then I can educate you on some today. I'm getting this from CBR.com. 10 biggest unsolved mysteries in video games.
So are they like mysteries in game that are unsolved, or just like unsolved lore around the game?
Oh, it's kind of both. It's like stuff that's happened in certain video games that people don't know about, and like the developers of the games haven't provided really any answer on.
Oh, okay.
Like, the first example here: what was the truth behind the aliens and UFOs in Grand Theft Auto 5? So, for context, well, they kind of go into it too, but the thing I know about this, there are plenty of different like UFO things in throughout the GTA series. Actually, I think in GTA San Andreas you can find Bigfoot, but most notably in GTA 5 there are like 3 separate UFOs you can find, and there's like a whole area you can find that's supposed to be like, you know, people have like painted like alien stuff, and like, you know, it's the tinfoil hat people, but like at the actual game you can find actual UFOs. Like, if you go way up in the sky in certain areas, there's UFOs there, and one that only appears after you've 100% completed the game.
Huh.
But to go off this thing, aliens were a recurring Easter egg and running gag in the violent Grand Theft Auto games. Although aliens were never a part of the game's stories, players could find their flying saucers and fun treasure hunts, but in Grand Theft Auto 5, the UFO mystery was more elaborate. It also hinted at something more ominous and clandestine.
Oh, some of my favorite words.
If the player met certain conditions like 100% completion, they could find UFOs hiding in plain sight. Some saucers were created by the military, while others were of unexplained otherworldly origin. Grand Theft Auto 5 confirmed that aliens and UFOs existed, but it has yet to fully explain where they came from and why they were made. And it's like, aliens aren't like a weird thing to GTA 5's story. Like, there's one mission where you, as Michael, you take your son Jimmy to meet up with this guy at like a fast food place. And so he talks a little bit, and then he comes back with a drink, which it's pretty obvious, you know, it's a drug meetup. Jimmy's getting some of that good. So on their way back, they're having like a conversation, whatever. Jimmy ends up somehow getting Michael to try some of the drink, and then Michael kind of like passes out. And then Jimmy just takes his car and like leaves him stranded.
Yeah.
But while having this drug trip, Michael imagines that he was abducted by aliens. So there are actual aliens in the game.
Was it imagined, or was he actually abducted by aliens?
Well, it was imagined, just obviously he was on drugs.
Okay, well.
But in GTA 6, you can find, like, besides the UFOs, they said, I think in the very first mission, you can actually find an alien frozen in ice. It's one of those things, it's like, they didn't have to put it in there. It has no relevance to the story, but it's just like, you know, here they are. Why they're there, we don't know.
Sure.
Ooh, this next one sounds specifically interested in me. Who was Songbird? BioShock Infinite.
Oh, okay.
BioShock Infinite Songbird was one of the most tragic video game characters ever made. Songbird was, supposedly, a person who was so altered by Jeremiah Fink's experiments that they became unnaturally gigantic and inhuman. Their body was sealed in a colossal birdsuit, and they were biologically dependent on Elizabeth for survival. Songbird was a giant version of Rapture's Big Daddies. Even if Fink's scattered blueprints confirmed that Songbird was in fact human, no clue was given to who they were or how they got that massive. Given how grotesque the results of BioShock's human experiments were, not knowing Songbird's true form was a blessing in disguise. You know, I never thought about that. Because, I mean, spoiler alert for BioShock, I haven't played the first two games, but I did play... Well, I haven't played all the way through the first two games, but I have played all the way through Infinite. And it never even occurred to me to think about, what if there's somebody in Songbird? Because to me, I thought Songbird was just this giant, like, mechanical bird.
Kind of like a Full Metal Alchemist situation.
Kinda.
Where his soul's trapped inside the body of the robot.
Yeah, I guess, kinda. But yeah, the thought never came across my mind that Songbird might have, like, somebody in them.
Yeah.
Moving on. This one I probably won't spend too much time on. Who was the homeless lady in Life is Strange? In Life is Strange, Max discovered that she could rewind time. The only people who believed her were her love interest Chloe and the homeless lady behind the diner. She knew what Max was talking about and even warned her about what was coming. She claimed to have lived for thousands of years, hinting that she was a time traveler too. To this day, Life is Strange fans aren't sure if the homeless lady was telling the truth or not. Some theorize that she was one of Arcadia Bay's missing people who trapped herself in the future after time jumping too much. Others even went as far as speculating that she was Max's older self from a dark ending where she lost control of her life. Yeah, that's something interesting to think about.
That would be my guess.
Please welcome our special guest, Kate, beating the shit out of her microphone.
Listen. For a second, when you were coughing, I thought you were laughing. And I was like, yes, finally, because I hardly ever make you laugh.
That's not true. You make me laugh all the time.
Okay, laughing at me doesn't count.
No, I laugh with you. Most of the time at you, but I also laugh with you. I'd say it's about 50-50.
Y'all see how he do me? The disrespect.
No, but this homeless lady thing, like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I haven't played all the way through Life is Strange. I think I'm able to, so I actually should download it because it's actually, you know, a lot of people say it's a really good game, so, you know, I'll definitely have to try it out. And next one on here, who was responsible for the Bite of 87? Five Nights at Freddy's. Was that the Bite of 87? The Bite of 87 was the most important event in Five Nights at Freddy's history, not according to Matt Pat.
It was one of the catalysts, yes, but not the most important event.
And also, it might not even be 87, but it really might have been the turning point is the Bite of 83.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
I would argue that the Bite of 83 is more critical than the Bite of 87. You think
Kingdom Hearts lore is complicated? The Five Nights at Freddy's lore is way more complicated.
No,
don't even
no. Because here's the thing. With the with the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, there's a clear through line.
Bullshit! It's not clear at all. Have you watched any game theory video?
Make me pull up game theory.
Literally, I'm using game theory to prove my point.
Well, maybe you're just... I can't even be mean to you as a joke. I was going to be like, well, maybe you're just stupid. And then I was like, no, that'll hurt his feelings.
Anyway. Let's see.
Anyway, Kingdom Hearts is way more complicated and convoluted than anything else on the planet, so...
Well, I'm not going to argue with that.
I was going to say,
saying,
tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not going to say it's not complicated. I'm just saying Five Nights at Freddy's might be a little more complicated.
No, it is not.
All right, whatever. Agree to disagree.
Okay, you can live with your wrong opinions.
You see what I have to deal with here? See what I have to deal with on a daily basis? I can't believe this. And if anybody's looking to host a podcast, I'm setting up application. Anyway.
You're not getting rid of me that easy.
In 1987, one of the animatronics in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza bit off a kid's frontal lobe. This led to the restaurant going bankrupt and the animatronics being locked away for decades. To this day, the culprit behind the incident remains a mystery. Fans of the labyrinthine Five Nights at Freddy's mistook the attack in Five Nights at Freddy's 4 for the bite of 87. Fredbear biting the crying child was the bite of 83.
Yep.
It's worth noting that Fredbear's attack was a freak accident. Fredbear was possibly not self-aware like the unidentified animatronic behind the bite of 87.
See, and I think that's where people get confused, because when you hear the bite of 87, you immediately think
of
Fredbear
like
with
that.
Like
literally the picture they included from Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
That was very clearly the bite of 83.
Yeah, because that took place in 1983. So, bite of 87.
So the implication is that the bite of 87, whichever animatronic was responsible for it, was already sentient to some degree.
Oh yeah, it's that goddamn William Afton.
That goddamn... I can't wait for the second Five Nights movie to come out.
I always come back. Yeah, the second movie is going to go hard. Especially since I think they're taking elements from more stuff, but basing it off of the actual Five Nights at Freddy's 2 game. But Scott Cawthon is also one of the producers on it, so you know they're going to do it right.
Well, he should be. It's his intellectual property.
And I think there's another game, like a new game that's going to come out too. It's like Tales of the Mimic or something like that, I think it's called.
Oh, fun. The Mimic is scary.
But yeah, there's going to be constant Five Nights at Freddy's lore.
I don't like the Mimic.
Well, yeah, the fact that it like can not only copy voices, but like...
Hello? Help!
Like, it literally tricked Cassie into coming to the basement of the fucking Pizzaplex.
Yeah.
By pretending to be Gregory. Gregory! What the fuck are you doing? How did you get up there? It's one of my favorite videos.
One of my favorite videos is when Mark is calling for Freddy, and Freddy runs right past him.
Oh, yeah.
Freddy, you bastard!
Freddy, you bitch!
So funny.
Like, he's just running from Monty, and he just keeps calling Freddy, and at one point, Freddy does show up. He's like going down the stairs, Freddy's coming up the stairs, and just runs right past him, and Mark just freaks out.
He's like, Freddy, you bastard!
Eventually, Monty gets him, and then Mark's just like, Freddy, you bastard! Like, he's just so pissed off at Freddy. Alright, next one on here. Now, this is one that I don't know much about because I don't know much about the game. Who was the Pyro from Team Fortress 2? Like, I know of the game, but I've never actually played it. Except for the Pyro, Team Fortress 2's mercenaries were all given backstories. It didn't help that Pyro's almost childlike voice lines were made unintelligible by their gas mask, and their suit obscured any defining physical traits. Valve sort of addressed this with the Meet the Pyro short, which still didn't expand Pyro's identity. The only things that were revealed were that Pyro had a monstrous bloodlust. Everyone feared them, and they saw the world through a child's eyes. The short even toyed with Pyro's gender by using male and female pronouns in the subtitle when referring to them.
I don't love that. I don't love the has a monstrous bloodlust, also sees the world through a child's eyes.
Pyro's identity may be inconsequential, but gamers still want answers. Yeah, I think I've seen that clip where it's like the Pyro obviously, has a bloodlust, like they said, but the way they see the world is just like, unicorns and rainbows and everything.
Like, that's a little fucked up.
Like, they're this faceless, like, backstoryless character that just kills. And I think, honestly, that's the way it should stay, because I'm sure if players got, like, a backstory, suddenly the character wouldn't be as interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of, if Sans and Gaster don't make an appearance on this list, I'm gonna riot. I'm quitting the show.
If Undertale doesn't appear?
Yeah.
I'd say it probably won't, but there's all kinds of... There's mysteries. There's all kinds of Undertale mysteries, too, that we could go into. But keeping with this list, going down, number 5. Who or what was the G-Man from Half-Life?
The G-Man.
The G-Man looks like a random government representative in Half-Life, only for him to be revealed as one of the most powerful cosmic beings alive. The uncanny G-Man could transcend and shape space-time and reality. He somehow had a hand in everything from the Resonance Cascade to Gordon Freeman's employment. The G-Man's true purpose and reasons elude Half-Life's characters and gamers. He may not be the immediate villain of the historically important Half-Life, but his motivations and the motivations of his superiors may endanger existence itself. As seen in Half-Life Alyx, it may only be a matter of time before his decades-long mystery is finally resolved. I've never been too much into the Half-Life games, but I am aware that G-Man is like this really mysterious character. Like, he just looks like some random dude, but he just has all this power, and he seems to know, like, everything.
He just looks like some random dude.
Like, he's just this random guy in a suit, but he seems to know, like, everything. Like, he has these weird cosmic powers. Phenomenal cosmic powers, but without the itty-bitty living space.
Phenomenal cosmic power. Every time I hear G-Man, I hear Mark in the back of my head go, "Oh, the G-Man!" From Prop Hunt.
Well, yeah, and that one probably video, that's what we were trying to get in that one little room.
Yeah.
Like, that was G-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I haven't played much of Half-Life, or I haven't really played Half-Life, so I wouldn't know.
So so that was a Half-Life reference in Prop Hunt?
Yeah, that guy in the suit sitting in that room, that was G-Man.
Oh, I thought that was just a thing that they were calling him.
Well, yeah, it's from Half-Life because Prop Hunt was made in Gmod, and which is basically a thing that takes assets from like Half-Life, from the Half-Life games, and creates other stuff.
Oh!
So there's the Half-Life games, and then Gmod, which is basically taking those assets from Half-Life and people to do whatever.
Oh, I didn't
Thus was
know
birthed with,
that.
what birthed Prop Hunt and all that.
Oh. Cue the more you know, Rainbow.
The more you know. Number 4. What was the town's true nature? Silent Hill. The titular town of Silent Hill. Tit.
Okay, so again, Silent Hill is the one with like the fog and the ice and the creatures, right? It's not the one. Until Dawn is the one with the Wendigos and...
Yeah, Until Dawn is the one where the teenagers go to the snowy cabin and there's Wendigos and all that.
Okay,
Silent Hill is the one where the guy,
Looks like you don't have a phone. Or a daughter.
Or a daughter.
Ha! I don't know why I keep mixing those two up in my head, but in my head they're interchangeable.
No, Silent Hill is... Silent Hill is a mind-fucky game.
Silent Hill is creepy.
I definitely want to...
I mean, so is Until Dawn.
Definitely want to replay it, because when I get a PS5, I do want to buy the Silent Hill 2 remake that just came out. Anyway, the titular town of Silent Hill was more of a symbolic purgatory. God damn it. Silent Hill is more of a symbolic purgatory rather than a concrete haunted locale.
Because that's the game where he like kills his wife, right?
That's the second one.
Oh.
I don't know if the story is the same in the first one, but I know in the second one it's James Sunderland, and he, he got a
freaks
letter
out
from
and
his
murders
dead
his wife.
Well, he got a letter to come to the town of Silent Hill from his dead wife.
And at the end of the game, you find out, surprise, he killed her.
Well, yeah, because it's you don't find that out until later.
Spoiler alerts.
Let's see. Every entry of the deprecating or just what is this word?
Here, let me see.
DEPRECIATING.
Here, let me see it.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's like two different words. It's either deprecating or depreciating.
Every entry of the depreciating Silent Hill depreciating.
Depreciating, okay. Depreciating Silent Hill starred a different protagonist. The town, its denizens, and its purpose shifted according to each main character's personality, desires, and traumas. It wasn't hyperbolic to say that Silent Hill was a character of its own. The god worshipped by the Order was the most concrete source of the town's evil, but this only applied to Silent Hill and Silent Hill 3. The other entries followed their own canons, while continually refusing to demystify the town's dark mystery. The fact that this mystery was deliberately made unsolvable made the town even more nightmarish. So that's the thing with the town of Silent Hill. A lot of people think it's like a purgatory. And like
also, you can't call a town Silent Hill and expect it not to be creepy.
Yeah, because the biggest thing of each of them is that like whichever main character you play as, it's like when you get to Silent Hill, that's like their version of purgatory. And that's what they mean when like they say, like when James Sunderland gets there.
Yeah.
A lot of the characters shift and kind of, depending on his like mental state. Like there's
I don't like the idea of a town that shifts to your mental state either.
Oh, what's one of the games? I think it's like Shattered Memories.
Yeah.
So there's these like kind of zombie-ish enemies that show up, but they change form depending on like questions you answer, which are supposed to represent like the mental state of your main character.
Oh, sure.
Like if your main character is more like sexually driven, then these zombies take on a more like sexual appearance. Like they're still faceless, but they'll have like obviously
tits and ass.
Yeah, like large tits and ass. But like then there's also like a form they can take where they're all like blocky and stuff, and supposed to be like, I don't know. I haven't played the game, but yeah, Silent Hill is definitely a weird game to dive into. Let's see. I'm gonna skip the Portal one because I don't know much about Portal. Skip it right to number 2. What was the secret of Monty Island? From The Secret of Monty Island.
Yep.
Enjoy that scratching, everyone. You're not supposed to stretch your tattoo.
I didn't. I was scratching him underneath my arm. My tattoo's over here.
The eponymous secret in The Secret of Monkey Island was what Guybrush Threepwood and the other
the what? Secret?
What? What? I don't. What are you confused on?
What was that word you just used?
Eponymous?
Okay, I heard hippopotamus, and I was like, hold on.
Hip Hop Anonymous? Damn you! You give him the easy ones.
Hip Hop Anonymous. I was like, sorry, we're using hippopotamus as a verb.
Big Daddy,
now?
Adam Sandler, great movie. The eponymous secret in The Secret of Monkey Island was what Guybrush Threepwood and the other pirates were racing to claim first. However, nobody knew what this secret was, or if it even existed in the first place. The game played coy with this, and the sequels doubled down on it. The mystery frustrated gamers to no end. The finale, Return to Monkey Island, even made this unsolved mystery its entire point. The game still didn't give a concrete answer to what the secret was. Instead, it was posited that the secret was a disposable plot device whose true purpose was to tell a great story and help its characters grow. Unsurprisingly, this non-answer angered gamers even more.
I love the idea of a game developer just being like, coming out like 40 years from now and finally being like, yeah, we actually don't have a secret, we just like the name of the game, so
maybe the real secret of Monty Island is the friends we made along the way.
The magic Leopleurodon, he's gonna show us the way.
Ooh, okay. Number 1 on here is one that I'm especially recently familiar with. What was really happening? The Stanley Parable.
That game is confusing as fuck.
It's good, but there's a lot of mystery behind it. The Stanley Parable opened with Stanley alone in the office. The narrator claimed everyone left, so it was now up to them to decide what happened next. Beyond the base premise of Stanley waking up, the Stanley Parable's weird story and point changed with every playthrough. Even the narrator's attitude changed depending on the chosen path. The easiest ending to achieve revealed that the game was about Stanley exiting a covert laboratory's experiment. The rest had him and the narrator realizing they were in a video game and trying to escape. The Stanley Parable had no true premise or ending. What was really happening and why remains some of gaming's most elusive mysteries. Yeah, and they bumped that up to like a shit ton with the Ultra Deluxe version.
Yeah.
Because they just added so much more. Like, one of the weirdest endings I remember going through and getting was the skip button ending. So, like, you go through a bunch of this stuff and, you know, the narrator says something about it being a game, and then he brings you to this place called Memory Lane, where you go through and you actually read, like, reviews of the original Stanley Parable game.
Yeah.
And then eventually you come across one, like, you read some positive ones, but you come across a negative one that talks about how, like, the narrator talks too much, and then the narrator obviously gets frustrated, but then he's like, all right, we'll come up with a solution, and then you get transported to this room with a skip button, and he's like, oh, there you go, you know, if you ever get tired of my talking, you just hit this button and skip right through dialogue, so you can keep hitting the button.
Mm.
And eventually, when you do, eventually, as you're hitting this button, the narrator eventually ends up going away. And at one point, when you hit the skip button a final time, like, it'll break off, and the room you're in has kind of shifted with one end being open, and just opens to this desert. And the ending you get is you're just endlessly wandering through this desert.
Huh.
I don't know, this game, it's a really good game, and there's a lot of mystery behind it. I definitely recommend it to anybody. I don't know if it's free. No, I don't think it's free anymore, because it was a monthly freebie for PlayStation Plus, so it's probably not free anymore. But I'm sure it would go on sale every now and then, so I would definitely recommend Stanley Parable to anybody who's looking for just a wild time. Although, word of advice, if you're going to get the Stanley Parable, do not go for the baby game ending. Just don't waste your time. Because, spoiler alert, the baby game ending, so narrator brings you to this room because he's like, oh, if you're tired of this video game that you're in, let me create something new for you, and eventually brings you to this thing where you press a button to keep a cardboard baby away from this fire. And basically what you're supposed to do to progress to the game's ending is have the baby burn. But there is also another ending called the art ending, which, if you manage to keep that baby away from the fire for 4 actual hours, like 4 real life hours, then you did this thing called the art ending. Just look it up on YouTube. It's not worth doing it yourself. It's not worth the stress.
I remember watching you do that, and I was like, okay, I'm bored. I'm gonna go do something
else. I literally got like 2.5 hours into it. I think like 2.5-3 hours into it, and something distracted me, and I screwed up. So it gave me like the normal ending, and I'm just like, son of a bitch. But yeah, anyway, that's some video game unsolved mysteries. I would go more into detail with some of these, but I don't have the, you know, physical health or mental health to, you know, go into detail with these.
And Undertale was not on this list, so I am quitting the show.
R.I.P. Well, off to better horizons. So join us next week when Caitlin comes back.
Yeah, I'm not actually quitting.
But yeah, Undertale's one we could definitely go into, and I don't know, or we can find some other unsolved mysteries to go into.
There's so many things. Like, how does Sans know everything? Where is he going in these shortcuts? Who's Gaster, and what happened to him?
Yeah, a lot of unanswered questions, but like, yeah, that's stuff we can go into in a later day. But I guess until then, that's gonna be this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys drink plenty of water. I'm about to down a whole thing of water myself
and maybe take some more medicine.
Yeah, to try to make myself feel better. Yeah, do positive things out there. Stay safe. Drink your water. Brush your teeth.
Wash your hands.
Eat your parents. I've been Cameron.
I've been Kate.
And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Nerds out.